Coming to you live from the Cowboys headquarters in Frisco. Deep in the heart of Texas, it's the Star at Night.
Wow, dramatic much?
Why are you getting in the way of my intro?
You mean our intro? We're your hosts. I'm Kelsey Charles.
And I'm David Hellman.
Okay, let's just start this show now.
What is up, party people? And welcome to the Cowboys Final Countdown.
I'd just like to point out that one of us is going skiing this weekend, and you would think it would be me, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
I know.
I'm going to Arctic Philadelphia. You're going to Breckenridge.
You decide who's going to have more fun.
You want to swap?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
All right, that's fine.
All right, so David, let's discuss what is forthcoming that this Dallas Cowboys is going to face in their final regular season game against Philadelphia Eagles. Some breaking news,
I was going to say,
though,
complete with some
before.
hot off the presses news.
I'm not going to say you manifested it, spoke it into existence, if you will, but if you guys recall our last episode, David Hellman was in favor of sitting Micah Parsons. Well, looks like that's going to be the case, but not because of your doing, but because of COVID-19.
Well, this is the world we're still living in. It is 22, still dealing with some 2020 problems. Look, I'm not going to be too glib about this. Hopefully, Micah's feeling fine. Hopefully, this will be a short stay on the COVID list. All of that said, wishing you a speedy recovery, my man. This isn't the worst timing in the world for this to happen. That's all I'm saying. Like, if this was going to happen, this is a game. It's not meaningless, but it's about as close to meaningless as a regular season NFL game can be. Well, you get my point. I've watched way more meaningless Cowboy games than this. But still, you'd rather have this happen heading into the final regular season game than heading into a wild card playoff game. So, like I said, I'm not trying to paint this as a good thing, but
Sure.
I can live with it, basically.
All right, so worse things could happen. Rest up, Micah. We hope you feel better soon. He's not the only one impacted by COVID, though. Let's take a look at this Eagles list.
The whole damn
again.
roster.
I mean, truly. Do we feel like there's going to be any guys that are going to be able to come off again because there's this shortened window now with the new league rules regarding COVID-19?
Yeah.
So which guys can we expect to maybe fall off this list and we'll see maybe on Saturday?
A lot of these guys are going to have a chance because I believe most of them were put on the list Monday, which would put them eligible to come back on Friday. The problem is, if you come back Friday, how much of a chance do you have to practice for a Saturday game? Do you want to throw them back into the action that quickly? And then on top of that, let's just be honest. The Eagles are already in the playoffs. They have a wild card game to worry about as well. Maybe some of these guys will play, especially we're going to get into the Eagles running back depth. Maybe you need some running backs available. But I bet a few of these guys, especially the older ones, are going to sit out.
Jason's like, I'm out. I'm good. Like, I'm
Jason
good on
Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, they're like, I've been doing this for a decade.
this. Like, I'm good on this
I
one.
think I'm good.
All right, so let's talk about what this team is going to face, namely in the Eagles starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Dare I say he's on a bit of an upswing. Okay, he's having himself a couple solid games. Like, they're not against the most worthy opponents, but opponents nonetheless. 3 touchdowns, still a handful of interceptions. But how different is this Jalen Hurts that this Cowboys team is going to face versus the one they faced earlier on in the season?
I don't know if Jalen Hurts is different, but the way the Eagles are playing football is a lot different. Probably because they realize that they are well positioned to run the football. If you go back to week 3, Nick Sirianni, for some reason, thought that the Eagles shouldn't run the ball at all against the Cowboys in week 3, and it was a disastrous decision. I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. You have a mobile quarterback. Their depth at running back is not great right now, but across the second half of the season, they've had solid running backs, and they've got a solid offensive line. They're leaning into that. So I think Jalen Hurts is the same guy, honestly. I just think the Eagles have gotten smarter about how they're using their skill set on offense.
Okay, so let's talk about more of the skill set on offense because the wide receivers, they're going to be a bit of a speed test for this Cowboys secondary. There's a couple names that I want to drop out there. You've got Dallas Goedert. I mean, we saw him. He was on the list.
Who knows?
But then Jalen Reagor's another guy, TCU alum. I mean, there's a few, like not to mention the Heisman. I think that there's going to be a bit of a test, I would say, right?
I'm excited to see Devontae Smith. It was week 3 last time these teams met. He's had a whole season. Hasn't set the league on fire the way some other young receivers have, but he's having a productive rookie season. I think that's going to be fun, particularly if he gets a chance to match up with his old Bama teammate Trevon Diggs.
Love that.
But like the Cowboys have played better receiver cores than this. Jalen Reagor, with all due respect to him, I mean, my main impression is just thank God he's not Justin Jefferson, because he could be. Jalen Reagor was drafted in front of Justin Jefferson. Shouts out all my Eagle fans that know that. Just saying, it could be worse.
So what I just heard is you saying that LSU is better than Bama is basically what I just got.
I mean, the 2019 scoreboard speaks for itself. I wasn't even bringing that up, but yeah, I mean, that was the best team of all time, not any Bama team.
All right, we're going to hold on that for a minute.
Okay.
Let's talk about the running backs, though. You alluded to that a minute ago. Sanders, he's been dealing with a bit of a hand injury, and then you saw the guys that are on the COVID list. It feels like they don't really have that many men available in the backfield come Saturday.
And that's why I brought that up. Maybe some of those guys on the back end of the depth chart, you know, if Jordan Howard can play in this game, maybe they'll elevate him from the COVID list. But again, this is an Eagles team that has less to play for than the Cowboys do, which is that's a weird thing to say about a team that's probably going to be the 6 or 7 seed. But that's as high as Philly can climb, is the 6 seed. Dallas can theoretically move into the 2. And that's my point, is like, it's a regular season game, playoff seeding is still on the line, but at the end of the day, Dallas and Philly both are going to be mindful of who they can rest and whether or not they want to subject guys to injury. I just don't know how much Miles Sanders is going to feature in this, knowing that they're going to play a road playoff game a week after this is over.
All right, so let's talk about the Cowboys offense for a minute, because let's face it, they haven't been firing on all cylinders for the past, 6 weeks. Washington was an anomaly, or at least we maybe hope it wasn't. But is this the game that Dallas and their offense can get back into the rhythm, especially as we're heading into the postseason? We know they need it. But the Eagles, they've been holding opponents to under 20 points since we last met. So how do those, two stats figure?
Do you want my earnest answer or like my cynical Dave answer?
The cynical Dave, always.
Oh, okay. Wow, I figured you'd want the earnest answer. The cynical answer is like, so what if they get into a rhythm anyway? I think I said that on Tuesday. Like, they got into a rhythm against Washington. Did it carry over when they played one of the best teams in the NFC? Like, at this point, I just feel like the Cowboys are who they are. They've got issues to correct, but what they show against Philly in a game that doesn't matter that much, it's not going to sell me, I guess is my point. Get out there and get some reps by all means. And yes, I do think they're positioned to take advantage of this Philly team. They had a lot of success in week 3. Sure. I think the personnel on defense is similar. Maybe there's something to be said for going out and doing it outdoors in Philly in January. But at this point, it's put up or shut up time for me. Like, it's what they're going to do next week that matters to me more than whatever happens in Philadelphia.
All right. So you have your opinions on how the NFC is going to shake out. Well, there's also a pretty key Cowboys alumni who has some thoughts on the matter himself. We're going to hear about Troy Aikman and where he thinks things are going to pan out coming up next. All right, David, so we all know that the playoffs are fast approaching, and a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on how things are going to shake up, specifically as it pertains to the NFC. Well, one Dallas great, Troy Aikman himself, had some words on the matter. Take a listen.
How close are the Dallas Cowboys to winning or not winning a Super Bowl?
Well, I think they've got a really good team. They haven't played great. They played great against Washington. Washington, didn't have much that particular night. But I think they're a really talented team. I don't think there is a real front runner in the NFC. I know a lot of people would say Green Bay, but I've covered a lot of Packers games, and they played some pretty average football teams and barely got out of those games with a win. I think Aaron Rodgers, of course, if he's not their quarterback, they lose a lot more of those games. But I think it is wide open in the NFC. Wow. And so even regardless of whatever you think of the way that Dallas has played here over the last 6 weeks, I think you could say the same things about Arizona, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, and even the Green Bay Packers. So I think Dallas, this team has a good feel. I think Mike McCarthy's done a good job, but I think Dak Prescott really kind of sets the tone. They've got playmakers on defense. I think that this is as good a year for them to go and win it all as they've had.
I love it when people who are smarter and more knowledgeable than me about the game share my opinion. Did you see our guy, Troy, has a beer now, by the way?
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
a nifty-looking can,
I
sir.
will be trying it.
I will absolutely be trying it. I think it's easy to say this after, like, you're trying to explain away an ugly loss to Arizona, but I think he's absolutely right. I mean, yes, Green Bay looks like they're on a roll right now. They've got home field advantage tied up. That's certainly intimidating. This is still the same team that struggled to put away a lousy Cleveland Browns team a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Like, it hasn't been all roses for the Packers down the home stretch. They do have that man, Aaron Rodgers, who is
Pretty good at football.
I mean, if you're a Cowboy fan, he should absolutely
Objectively.
terrify you. But this is what I said the other day, though. Let's not even get ahead of ourselves. You got to beat somebody else before you even have to worry about the Packers. And all of those teams are going through similar struggles as the Cowboys right now. I know the Cardinals just beat Dallas. They were on a 3-game losing streak before that. They're beat up. They're not expected to have DeAndre Hopkins back anytime soon. The Rams have been dealing with turnover issues recently. Matthew Stafford throwing the ball away willy-nilly, struggled to put Baltimore away.
Right.
And then, Tampa Bay, before Antonio Brown quit on them in the middle of a close game against the Jets, they also lost Chris Godwin, who's one of the most underrated players in the league, to an ACL tear. I guarantee you, with the exception of maybe Green Bay, every contender in the NFC right now is like, I don't know about this one, guys. So, I mean, I can't guarantee you the Cowboys are going to win in the playoffs, but I think they're right there in the conversation with everybody else. I don't think losing close to Arizona should take them too far out of that conversation.
Wow, interesting. Do you have any bold predictions for us while you're breaking down all of these different factors?
I mean, it's tough to get too bold because we don't even know who they're going to play, but I'll take my chances with the Cowboys at home in the playoffs, at least in the first round.
Love that.
I really will. I mean, I don't know what else to say. The track record of the season speaks for itself. They've been much better at home more often than not, and they're right there in the conversation with all of these teams. It's hard to feel great after that game, but I'm not ruling it out, okay? All these one-and-done ninnies need to get it together.
I'm kind of
I
with
see you in my mentions. I see the one-and-done stuff in my mentions. Just take a deep breath.
He's calling you out.
Just take a deep breath.
I mean, listen, this
If
team
they-
is capable of doing it. It's just a matter of being
they are.
consistent, which I think has been, again, like the storyline, at least of the second half of this year. So
It just cracks me. I don't really believe in week-to-week momentum. But if they beat Philly convincingly, just watch everybody. It's all going to be Super Bowl parades and rose petals again. That's just the way this stuff works. They're a good team. They're a flawed team, but a good team. I like their odds.
all right, well, you heard it from the man himself. Okay, so that would be a pretty big moment for this Cowboys franchise should they be able to break through those barriers. There's also a pretty big moment on the horizon for one of the Cowboys players, Trevon Diggs himself. We're going to talk about that coming up next.
Cowboys weren't the only team dealt a devastating setback against the Cardinals.
Tell me who else, David.
Yours truly. I've been talking crap for 6 weeks, and it finally came home to roost.
Things you love to see.
I went 0-3 last
Yes.
week. I think what I've really learned is that we all suck at this.
Yeah.
Like for
I'm good.
You have the same record as me, and we're both below 500.
Whatever.
We're trash.
Fine.
We're ass at this.
Speak for yourself.
Speaking for you, we have the exact same record.
Not for long.
But it's never too late. One more week in the regular season. We'll do something similar in the postseason. I don't know.
I'm so ready.
I am too. I'm ready to get off of the schneid. And we're going to start it out with our man, Ezekiel Elliott. He needs 86 yards to hit 1,000 on the year.
Whoop, whoop.
Kelso, do you think he goes over or under?
I would love to see this team just like force feed him to this victory. It's not going to happen. Give me the under.
Short, to the point. I need to take lessons from you. I'm with you. Look, the Cowboys can say what they want. I don't think the important guys are still going to be playing at the end of this game for one reason or another.
Especially not long enough to get like that kind of stat on the board.
I'm going under.
Going under. All right. So I think that if I were to guess what the fans had to say.
They're going to go. Actually, they'll probably go under.
Yep,
if I had
they
to
went
guess.
under as well.
I mean,
Under.
Zeke's been under that for most of the second half of the season.
Correct.
Not necessarily his fault, but that's just the facts.
All right, what's up next then?
What about our guy, Trevon Diggs? He can set the Cowboys record. He picked off Jalen Hurts for a touchdown in week 3. He can set the Cowboys record. He's picked them off in every game of his career. 3 games he's got picks against the Eagles. You think he goes over or under 0.5?
Give me over. We saw the current record holder in the hallways on the way to record
Sure did.
said show right now. So it's on the top of a lot of people's minds around this building. Give me the over. Why not? It's not going to be a bunch of starters. Like, I feel like this Cowboys secondary has the edge over Philadelphia anyway. So, like, give me the over.
Over's more fun, and Jalen Hurts is still a very raw quarterback prospect. He's going to give him a shot. I think he sets it. I really do. I'm guessing the fans agree with me.
They do. They, in fact, do. They took the over in true fan fashion, which I love their belief in our guy. Like, come on, it's positive.
They beat me last week.
Manifest
so
that
fine.
for our mans, y'all, okay?
Finishing things up, this one will go a long way in determining the Cowboys' wild card opponent.
Go.
Rams host the Niners. I think they host. The Rams play the Niners this weekend. If they win the NFC West, which would almost assuredly lock the Cowboys into a rematch against the Cardinals. Think they win or lose?
I think the Rams win. OBJ is going to have a tutty, and, you know, because apparently his career is now back on track now that he's in LA and has some palm trees in his life. So give me the Rams in this one.
This is a boring segment. We all agree. I mean, I think even before the Cardinals game ended, I was like, yeah, they're going to play again in 2 weeks. That's what's going to happen, and this result is going to ensure it.
Yes.
What do the fans think?
The fans also agree with us and say Rams. So it looks like we are pretty much in agreement.
Well, I can't lose. I can't lose. If we all answered the same, I can't lose. That's all I'm saying.
You're still a loser.
No, I will go out on top probably just based off of alphabetical order if I had to guess.
That is what she said. Thank you guys so much for another
gross.
Wonderful episode.
Next time we see you, it'll be the postseason.
Yay! Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. For producer Kaden, Kelsey Charles, David Hellman, Start at Night. See you guys next time.